there on the screen?
Yes, sir.
Now it is. Okay, welcome all of you, my dear students. And today we are going to learn the poem from our textbook in English, that is Beehive. And the name of the poem is A Legend of the Northland. So, as I told you now, that many of you have already put your names in the chat box as soon as you join the session, but it is not recorded. So, you please put it again so that your attendance will be recorded, and I will also share the same with you all on WhatsApp group. Good. So, if anybody can tell me, what is the poem about? It's really interesting, I know, and you must have enjoyed it while you were reading and listening to it. But can anyone share few things from the poem? Yes? Nobody? Don't hesitate. Be frank and share. It's very interesting. Do you agree that it is really very interesting? Interesting. There is a humor in the poem. It gives us pleasure while we are reading and listening to it, and it also teaches us lesson. It seems to be, a story in the form of poetry. Right, dear students? Do you agree? Are you all getting
Yes,
it
sir.
there? Oh, good. Respond quickly, dear students, so that I can understand that you are all there and getting me well. Fine. So let's start with the poem, The Legend of the Northland. So as I told you that this poem narrates the legend of an old lady who angered Saint Peter because of her greed. And in this poem, there is a story, in fact, and that story has two characters mainly. One of them is an old lady, and the other one is Saint Peter. And that lady who is really very greedy, the lady who is really very greedy angers Saint Peter. And Saint Peter gets angry with her and curses her, and then what is the impact, how it happens, that all we are going to learn here in this point. So do you want to know more about it, dear students? Who is the lady? How she angered Saint Peter? Then what did Saint Peter do? And all. Do you want to know, dear students? You please respond me quickly. Yes or
Yes, sir.
no?
Yes,
Very
sir.
good. Very good. Very good. Right. Triage. Thank you, dear, for your quick response. So let's see what is the first stanza. Stanza number one. Away, away in the Northland. Northland means the land which is in the north direction. Dear students, you know all the directions? Check quickly. All directions. How many are
Yes,
there?
sir.
How many are the directions
Four.
altogether? Mainly there are four: east, west, south, north. Then sub directions
All are 8.
and up and down. Up and down. These are also two more directions.
10.
So there are total 10. Kansham, you please share all of them together quickly.
North, east, west, south,
Hmm.
up and down.
And four more.
Northeast, west, south,
Northeast,
southeast.
southeast, southwest, northwest.
Yes. Avishkar, southeast or
Yes,
east, south or west,
southeast,
north? What is it?
southeast.
Yes, very good. So first one east, secondly west, thirdly south, thirdly north. Can you point out there with you? For example, on the map, which is the upside direction on the map? Physical
North,
map, if it is there with you, it is north. Downward,
South.
right hand side,
east,
very good. And left hand side,
west.
West.
absolutely. Can you name one of the states in India, in the northern part of India?
Gujarat.
Jammu and Kashmir.
Jammu
Yes,
and
absolutely. Very good. Southern state? Anyone?
Tamil Nadu.
Kerala.
Absolutely. Western?
Maharashtra.
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 Western?
Gujarat.
Yes, absolutely. And Eastern?
West Bengal.
West
Mizoram.
Very good. Then in the direction of southeast,
Odisha.
southwest,
Karnataka.
Karnataka and Orissa. These are in two opposite directions. Good. Then northeast,
Sir, UP.
northeast.
Yes, sir. Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh.
Very good. Very good. Then northwest.
Sir,
Rajasthan.
Rajasthan.
Punjab.
Very good. Absolutely. You know the directions well as far as map is concerned. So here, a legend of North, and the story is from the land which is in the north direction. We can say the north hemisphere. You know the hemispheres of the earth, right? So you know how many are how many are the total continents on the earth?
7.
7.
Can you name them? Hurry up, don't waste time. Which is the biggest one as far as area is
Asia.
concerned?
Yeah.
Good. Can you name the continent where there is no inhabitant, or it is not the habitant inhabitants for any people?
Antarctica.
Antarctica.
Very good. Then can you name one of the continents which has two names?
Two names.
A continent having two names.
North America.
No, South America, North America, they are different. One continent is there known with two names.
Australia.
Absolutely. Which is another name for that?
Oceania.
Very good. Absolutely. So brilliant students you are all. I'm very proud of you all, dear students. So quickly you are telling all the answers. This is the way you are knowledgeable, not just informative. And the important thing that you are applying your knowledge. That's really good. By the way, so you understood Northland. So away in the Northland, like in the story we say, long ago, or thousands of years ago. Isn't it the beginning of the story? So this is actually the story in the form of poetry. So let's see. Away in the Northland, where the hours of the day are few, and the nights are so long in winter that they cannot sleep them through. And in the Northland, there are some areas where sunlight hardly reaches, isn't it? And that way, the season mentioned is winter. So I won't go much in depth of seasons also, monsoon season, winter season, autumn, spring, and all. So this is the winter season in which in that Northland, the hours of the day are very few. The duration of the day is less than the duration of the nights. Now only one question. What are the days on which the days and the nights and their durations are equal? Come on. Day and night, equal duration. Are you all getting me, dear students?
Yes, sir.
So which is the day when day and night are equal in duration? Don't know? One of them is going to be in this month only.
Spring.
No, day I'm telling. You tell me the date. Day means the sense. I mean to say date. Which is the date? Or what are the dates? When
March
day,
21.
23 March.
Absolutely. 21st March and 23rd September. This is
September.
today's 18th September. After just 5 days in future, uh, it is 23rd September when day and night are equal as far as the duration is concerned. Very good. So, but here in the Northland, days are very few. Days are few in the sense the duration of the day, that period is less than the duration of nights. And the nights are so long, so lengthy, we can say, for your understanding, that people get tired of sleeping. You know, how long can a person sleep? 8 hours, 9 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours? Can anybody sleep more than that every day? Not possible.
No, sir.
We get tired of sleeping then, isn't it? And when we get tired of sleeping, can we sleep again? If we are getting tired of doing anything, we can sleep. But we are tired of sleeping only, then it's very difficult to sleep in that case. And so here it is mentioned that the people there, especially in winter, even in our area, as far as India is concerned, the nights are longer in the winter season. And so the people there in the Northland are not able to sleep through the nights they have there. So let's see now then what happened. What do they do? Hmm? Do they work during night since they can't sleep, or they do something else? Here in the second stanza, I would like Saili Kose to read stanza number 2.
Where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bears cubs in their funny furry clothes.
Very good. And where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows. And you know, because of the winter season, there is a snowfall all the time and so cold. And because of that, they need something to cover their bodies in order to protect themselves from that cold. And so they have, you know, the reindeer, and also the children, you know, they are wearing the woolen clothes, or you know how it look like a bear cub. The children there, they look like a bear cub, you know, because of putting those clothes, woolen clothes, we can say that way. And you know, like teddy bear, how soft they are, and that kind of clothes are there being used by the people there in order to protect themselves from that cold. And the way children have put on their clothes, they seem like to be the bear cub. And they make so much of fun during even the nights, because they have much time to be at home and make some fun, because the day are few and nights are long. And that way the people in that area in the Northland are spending their time. Are you getting there, students? So where they harness the swift reindeer to the sledges when it snows, and the children look like bear's cubs in their funny clothes, funny furry clothes. Can you imagine that scenario from Northland? That everywhere there is cloud, there is a snowfall, even the trees are covered with the snow, and there the people uh, in their houses, they are all trying to protect themselves from that cold. Children, especially, they are wearing those woolen clothes, furry clothes, and making some fun. And they seem to be like bear's cubs. Got it, dear students? So please respond.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Yes, sir.
Keep responding.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So now the third stanza. If Sarthak is there, Sarthak Khandelwal, then Pratham Khandelwal, any one of you? None of you? Okay. Shreyash,
Yes, sir.
please read the next stanza, stanza number 3.
They tell them a courier the story. I don't believe it's true. And yet you may learn its lesson if I tell the tale to you.
Very good. And so how they are spending their time? They are spending their time being at home, telling the stories to each other and making some fun. we have also experienced it very well during the lockdown. We were not allowed to go out. We were prohibited, and so we had to be at home all the time. And so, it was a good time for our family bonding. A father and a mother who could not spend much time with their children, they spent much time with their children during lockdown, more than enough. And that way, the bonding between the family was developed and improved in that way. And here in the Northland, the people, they can't sleep longer, they can't sleep all the time. So what they are doing, they are telling the stories to the children, and the stories are very curious. And here the poet says that, you will believe that these stories are just the stories, imaginary. They are not true. But you will definitely learn a lesson if the tell means story, it's told to you. So let's see what is the story here and what lesson can we learn from that. I want here Shardul Kulse Patil to read the stanza number 4. That is the beginning of the story. This poem is story in story being developed. So in the beginning, you came to know how the story was introduced, giving the example of the people in the Northland, how they are spending the time, the atmosphere over there, and there come the characters, that parent and children, and they are telling the stories. And here the story begins. Shreyash, Tanpure, is there, otherwise Shardul is there reading this. Shardul, be louder.
Once,
Yes,
sir, may I read?
please. Shardul, continue.
Once, once when the once when the good Saint Peter lived in the world
Hmm.
below and walked about it preaching just as he did, He came to
So
the door of a
enough,
cottage.
enough. Good, dear. Only one stanza. Very good, Shardul. Thank you. And there, the story began with the good Saint Peter, and who lived in the world that time, long, long ago. And he used to walk from one place to another and was preaching and telling the people good things. And you know this about Saint Peter because they have been doing these things since ancient period, and they have spent their lives just to preach the people and maintain the ethical values in the world that we can see preserved. And these are the people, they have been supporting, and they have spent and have sacrificed their lives for this. And here is the example of the good Saint Peter. And you know about him. The story began. Okay? Then what happened with Saint Peter? This is the entry of Saint Peter in the story. Then what happened? Here is then Rajanandini Pothare reading the next stanza. Rajanandini.
Yes, sir. He came to the door of a cottage in traveling round the earth, where a little woman
Good, Rajanandini. So I am reading again this stanza. He came to the door of a
was
cottage
making
in
cakes
traveling
and
round
baking
the
them
earth.
on the hearth.
Very good, Rajanandini. Thank you. Where a little woman was making cakes and baking them on the earth. And dear students, as you know, you can imagine that good Saint Peter. He was moving from one place to another around the earth. He was traveling, and one day he came to the door of a cottage. And at that door of the cottage, he saw that there was a little woman who was making some cakes and baking them on the hearth. That stove, we can say. Can you just imagine that a person, Saint Peter, is at the door in the courtyard of the little woman? Little woman means not girl, no? Or do you think there is a girl, little woman, or old woman do you find? Let's see who she is. Or little as far as her height is concerned or age is concerned, that you will come to know. So there is a little woman who was baking and making some cakes on the hearth. And there comes Saint Peter. What did he do? These people, as far as they are concerned, they don't have their own family. They just go on moving and traveling from one place to another. They don't have their own homes. They belong to the God only, we can say, and God belongs to them. They do not have anything. with them, and nor they carry anything with them. So finally, they have to depend on the people, the society, and the people only, give them food, give them shelter, and they survive because they have sacrificed everything, and just they live for the people, for the society, in the name of God. And what do you think? He must have come at the door of a cottage for? Absolutely. Bhikshamdehi, or for some alms, he wanted to have something, some food he wanted, and he must have asked for food. Then did the lady offer him some cake or not? There we are going to know in the last stanza on page number. Which is the page number? This one. 64 or
65.
63?
65.
65. Oh, I see. Good. So there is the last stanza on page number 65, and I want Palak to read it. Palak.
Yes, sir. And being faint with fasting, for the day was almost done, he asked her from her store of cakes to give him a single one.
And there he went to her and begged for a cake. Being faint with fasting, he had not had food for last few days, and the day was almost done. Means he had not had food, even the whole day was past. Not breakfast, nor lunch, nothing. And that time he had gone to her and is asking for a single cake from her store of cakes. Did she give? Let's see on next page, page number 66. And here is Piyush Bhutada reading that stanza. The first stanza on page number 66. Piyush Bhutada. Can also see on screen. If not ready, then there is Yogiraj Ubale reading it. Yogiraj.
Yes, sir.
Is it interesting, dear Yogiraj? The poem, are you getting
Yes.
it? Yes,
Yes, sir.
absolutely. Now here is the climax. We have learned about the story. Now the story has begun. But here is going to be something that we can't expect, but it happened. What's it? I would like to listen to it from you, dear Yogiraj.
Yes, sir. She made a very little cake, but as it baking, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away.
Yes, very good. Thank you, Yogiraj. In the introduction of the poem, only we know that this little woman, in the introduction, it was mentioned that she was an old woman. In the stanza that we just read, the previous one, there it is mentioned that the little woman. Forget about either she is an old woman or the little woman, but you know that she is greedy, and her greediness is proved here. You know how? I'm again reading it for you. So she made a very little cake, but as it baking lay, she looked at it and thought it seemed too large to give away. And dear students, she made a cake, baked it, and at the time it was being baked, she looked at it very carefully and found that it was very large, that she cannot give it to the man, to the good Saint Peter. And did she give that? No, she did not give it to him because she thought that he should be given a small one. She is very greedy, and greedy people always want everything for themselves only. They don't never want to give anything to anybody else. They want everything to themselves. And there in the next stanza, you know how she did not give and tried to make smaller list or less cake as she could. But did it happen? And was she successful in making a smaller cake? And finally, did she give it to him or not? That we are going to know in the next few stanzas. So here is Surbhi reading the next stanza. Surbhi. If she is not able, then there is Vansh Ledwani. Vansh, please read the next stanza. The second one from page number 66. You can also see on the screen. Not able? Fine. Then there is Shreyash. Shreyash, can you? Okay, Piyush, you can. All right, you can, dear. Read it.
Sir, second one, no?
Yes.
Therefore, she needed another
Hmm.
and still a smaller one, but it looked, when she turned it over, as large as the first had done.
Very good, Piyush. Thank you. And you know, the second one she made smaller. She knows that it is smaller than the first one. But when she looked at it again and again while it was being baked, she found it that it was as large as the first one. And you know why was it happening, dear students? Because of her greed. As she was very greedy, she did not want to give it to anybody. So she was just finding the excuses that she did not want to give the big one. The first one was bigger, and second one she made smaller, but she found it as large as the first was. And so, do you think she gave it to him, the second cake? Yes or no? Dear students, she found even if the first cake was bigger and the second was not smaller, but she says that the first and second were equal as far as their size was concerned. Then do you think she offered the second cake to the good Saint Peter?
No, sir.
No. As Gayatri has also mentioned in the chat box, and Ghanshyam and many of you have answered here. Very good. So she did not offer the second also. Can you imagine what might have happened? Do you think that she might have offered third, fourth, or tenth, or not at all? What do you think? I think you should be able now to understand what might have happened at the end. Can you? If you are not, let's read the next stanza, and I'm reading it for you all. Then she took a tiny scrap of dough. Dough, you know, out of we make the cake out of it only. So then she took a tiny scrap of dough and rolled it flat and baked it thin as a wafer, but she could not part with that. And finally, she made so small cake, the smallest one, as like a wafer. Wafer, a small piece, the slice of the potato, we can say, that much smaller. Finally, she made that cake from a tiny scrap of dough by rolling and rolling again it as small as she could, flat it. But even that time, she could not part with that. And she could not give, she could not offer the smallest wafer like, or as the size of that cake was like a wafer. But that cake also she could not offer to the good Saint Peter. And can you imagine, dear students? He was such a great person who had sacrificed his life for the people, not just the country, and who was preaching all over the world and was traveling. Might have done. What would you do if you were in his place? Or even simply just imagine that somebody is saying, or if you have asked for someone to give you something, be it a cake, and they give you just like the cake with the equal size of an ant. Will you have it? How can we? We will find that the person is insulting us. You will find yourself humiliated, insulted. And the same thing happened, and there the good Saint Peter got angry. And this is the way that the old woman, the little woman, angered him. And when he got angry, what did he do? Let's see. For she said, and what reason she said for not offering the cake? My cakes that seem too small, when I eat of them myself, are too large to give away. So she put them on the shelf. And finally she said that her cakes seem to be very small since she is eating herself. When she eats the cake, even if big in size, but she finds that it was too small. But when she is trying to give the smallest piece of the cake to somebody else, she finds it very large, very, very big in size. And finally, she did not give any cake to the good Saint Peter and finally put all of those cakes on the shelf. Then Then good Saint Peter grew angry, for he was hungry and faint, and surely such a woman was enough to provoke a saint. And finally, his anger grew because the anger was there, good Saint Peter had, and there was a reason that he was already hungry and he was almost about to be unconscious. He was about to faint and fall down, and that time, being very hungry, he got easily angry. And that much of act by that old woman was more than enough to provoke a saint, because she insulted him that way by not offering even the smallest piece of the cake. And his anger grew. And what did Saint Peter do? He said, in the next stanza you can see, and he said, "You are far too selfish to dwell in a human form, to have both food and shelter and fire to keep you warm. And hey, lady, the old woman, you are too selfish and you don't deserve to be human being." There it is, the second line, to dwell in a human form. You don't deserve to be human. Neither you should have food nor shelter with you, nor should you have a fire to keep you warm, because you don't deserve to be in the human form. You don't deserve to be human being, because human beings can't be so selfish. And so, what did he curse? There in the next stanza you can see, "Now you shall build as the birds do, and shall get your scanty food by boring and boring and boring all day in the hard dry wood." Hey lady, you are getting food so easily. You have enough food with you. You have more than enough cakes you have in order to fulfill your needs. But you are greedy and you are too selfish. And so you are not deserving at all being a human. And what you should be the woodpecker, that bird which spends days and nights boring and boring and boring in the wood in order to get the food. Isn't it? Woodpecker, dear students, the bird,
Yes,
how does
sir.
it survive? Have you seen it physically or just in the pictures? Woodpecker.
Physically.
Physically.
Have you seen? Very good. Nowadays, those birds have been almost, very rare seen in our, nearby the places. Otherwise, they were in large numbers earlier. I remember my childhood, there were many. Those who have not seen, do you want to see the woodpecker bird? Or all? Dear students, do you want to see the woodpecker bird?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, see it on the screen. There it is. Can you see?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay, now I'm also playing the video how the woodpecker goes on boring and boring in order to get the food. Would you like to watch it? Or are you in a hurry
Yes,
and
sir.
also hungry and and angry with me? Yes?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Yes, yes. The gap between your voice reaches me and my voice reaches you. We just are, and so when I say and expect that you should say yes, you say no, and when I expect you should say no, you say yes. You will watch the recording and will be really shocked. Say it is.
Peckers busy at work. But have you ever wondered why they're pecking away and why they do it so, well, endlessly? Well, at least in the case of acorn woodpeckers in Carmel Valley, California, they're creating storage units. Thousands
Are you all able to watch?
thousands of storage units.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
See, these acorn woodpeckers are engaging in a behavior called hoarding. They're collecting far more food than they need for the winter by pecking holes into dead trees and stuffing them with their favorite food. Fat-filled acorns.
they make holes
This oak tree has been transformed into a storage site, or
in the
granary,
branches,
for
stalks.
one extended family of acorn woodpeckers. This particular granary tree has been pecked with over 10,000 holes. Can you imagine how much work it takes to create all these holes? Then imagine how much work it takes to fill them. A woodpecker might gather over 100 acorns a day.
There are many species of the woodpecker.
In each trip. A woodpecker can fly over 12 miles in one day gathering acorns. Then the acorn has to be pounded snugly into the hole. If the fit isn't just right, naturally the woodpeckers don't think large portions of the acorn supply can generate all these oak trees, keeping the acorn
Okay, all right, dear students, you got it now.
intact.
What is woodpecker? How it looks like?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good. It was little different woodpecker than we see in our area. You know, just opposite to its beak, there is one more feather like, you know, it seems to be like beak only in the opposite direction, but it is not. It is something different. You know, what is it called? Does anybody know what is that part of the woodpecker called? Okay, you please find it out later. So you understood now what is woodpecker and what happened. That is the climax in the story. That what he did, good Saint Peter. And you know, he said he got angry and told her that you don't deserve to be human form in the human form. You don't deserve to be human being because you are too selfish, and you should struggle for your food, shelter, and fire. And so he finally decided that she should be not human being, but a woodpecker who spends time, you know, in order to get food by boring and boring and boring only in the hard and dry wood. And that much struggle she should do in order to get food. That was his intention because she had enough thing with her. Her needs were easily met, but she was not offering anything to others. And so he got angry and cursed her that she should be a woodpecker. And you can now imagine that the lady turned into the woodpecker and flew through the chimney. And what happened? That is there on page number 66 and 67. You can see. Then up she went through the chimney, and immediately she flew through the chimney where she was baking the cake on the hearth. Never speaking a word, and out of the top flew a woodpecker, for she was changed to a bird. And you know, he cursed her to be a woodpecker, the bird, and she turned immediately into the form from human body to bird body, and she became a woodpecker and flew through the chimney and came out. But was she like a woodpecker when she came out? Because of flying through the chimney, what happened? She had a scarlet cap on her head, and the cap the woodpecker had turned into scarlet. You know why? There you will come to know. And that was left the same, but all the rest of her clothes were burned black as a coal in the flame. And you know, in the chimney, she traveled. You know, birds are called, like especially sparrows, the chimney only. But the chimney I'm referring to is another one through which the smoke goes out. And from that chimney, they had traveled. And because of that, her rest of body, we can say the clothes, the feathers, the wings, they all were burned and were turned into the color black as a coal in the flame. And there, you know, dear students, every country school boy has seen her in the wood. So you have also seen that bird, woodpecker, around where she lives in the trees till this very day, boring and boring for food. And here the poet says, Phobicary, that she is the one. Whenever you see that woodpecker, that lady is a woodpecker. And you know, this is the way some such legendary or some such stories are told in this form. Dear students, this is called a ballad. You know, in in Marathi language, it is said povada. Like the ballad of Shivaji Maharaj. Khana Daulat Wala. You know that pagoda, have you heard? Listen to it.
Yes,
Anybody?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Khana ala, Shami ala, Khana Daulat ala. You know that. I won't sing. That is called ballad, pagoda. And here is this poetry form. Story is a ballad. A ballad is a song narrating a story in short stanzas. Ballads are a part of folk culture or popular culture and are passed on orally from the generation to the next. The Legend of the Northland is also a ballad. So, did you enjoy, dear students, this story or the poem? Story
Yes,
in the
sir.
form of
Yes,
poetry.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you please, anybody, tell me briefly so that we can end with this session? Briefly. This is the story in the form of poetry that took place in the Northland, where the days are shorter than the nights, and the nights are so long that the people don't sleep throughout them, and so they spend time telling the stories each other. And the children also, they wear different funny furry clothes in order to protect themselves from cold. And here is the story told about the good Saint Peter, who had been traveling all over the world and one day was very hungry and went to a cottage where he saw a little woman baking the cake. And he simply asked for a single cake in order to fulfill his need of hunger. But she baked one cake and found that it was very large to be given to the Saint Peter. And so she didn't give, made another one, but found again that was also as big as the first one. Finally made the smallest one like a wafer, but also found that it was bigger. And there she remembers that whenever she is eating even the big cakes, she finds the smaller. And when she is trying to offer the smaller one to others, she finds it bigger. You know why? Because she was very selfish, very greedy. And there, of because of her such attitude, Saint Peter got angry and cursed her that she doesn't deserve to be she doesn't deserve to be in the form of human body, but she should be a bird. And which bird? Woodpecker, who just goes on boring and boring and boring and boring day and night, here and there in the hard wood. And then finally the bird gets food, shelter and some warmth. And so decided to curse her and turn her from human body to the bird, and there she flew from the chimney and her body was completely burned. And there the people, whenever see such a woodpecker bird, they remember that lady who had once been very greedy and selfish. And this way, what lesson do you learn, dear students, from this?
We should
Hurry
not
up.
be
That we should
greedy.
never be greedy.
Sharing is key.
Yes, sharing, caring. You have learned that rhyme in your childhood. You should always share the things with others. You should care others, and what you give others is comes back to you like a boomerang. If you are sharing something with you, somebody is there going to share finally with you ultimately. And this way we can, say that we should always be collaborative, helping, caring, loving with each other. So together we stand, divided we fall, isn't it? That also a lesson we can say we have learned. So anything else, dear students, from your side?
No, sir.
All right. Then I will also share with you the question and answers. You please note them down in the notebook. It will help you prepare from the midterm, that is OTBA, Open Text Based Assessment examination point of view. Thank you. That's it for today. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Bye, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Bye,
Bye.
sir.
Bye, sir.